Hello friends, welcome to Company Review. So today we are doing things little different. So in place of reviewing only one company, today we're gonna review the entire sector. And the methodology is very simple. We are picking up a few of the four best companies within that sector, and we are reviewing them, and that will give you a good insight about the entire sector completely. And so, what is this sector exactly? So if you look at in the last couple of years, there are a lot of newer bank emerged, right? And we see we have seen very different names like First Bank. We saw small finance banks. Then we saw a lot of NBFCs, which is then converted into a small finance bank. And it's very difficult even for a consumer to understand, whether they are bank or they are not the bank, or they are NBFC, who they are. And majorly, that all these banks have their primary business is nothing but lending, just like NBFCs. So even as a job seeker, sometimes it's a little confusing for you also, like how the Axis Bank is different from IDFC First Bank. Or how is it different from a small finance bank like AU Small Finance Bank or Jana Small Finance Bank? And so that brought us to a list of four banks that we have chosen to compare right now. And as you can clearly see, we picked up IDFC First Bank, we picked up AU Small Finance, Jana Small Finance, and Bandhan Bank. We have chosen these banks. One is that they are leading among all the new banks which is being recently introduced. Apart from that, all four are from different locations. So AU Small Finance Bank is headquartered in Jaipur, while IDFC is in Bombay, and their parent organization is IDFC Limited. And Jana Small Finance Bank is headquartered in Bangalore, and they have their parent organization as Jana Lakshmi Services. And Bandhan Bank is headquartered in Kolkata. So Bandhan is a fairly old bank now. They started long back and almost more than 10 years in the market so far. While Bandhan was one, when they started, they started with a very good fundamental in terms of the kind of organization they built in eastern part of India, where they built a microfinance services and one of the most profitable and very trusted name in East India. And now they have a full-fledged bank over there. Even Jana Lakshmi Services has a very good market base, and almost all these four banks are pretty well established in the market. Idea is to see how maybe they are good as a consumer brand, people now know them, but as a job seeker sometimes you are really confused whether you should join these companies or not, whether these companies would be will provide you job security, growth, or good work culture, good work environment, and so on. So let's quickly analyze and see which company perform the best and which company fare the best, and which one you should choose to join if you get an offer from any of these or the similar companies. If you look at all these four, they all have similar infrastructure across, and they have presence almost every India. Certainly, like there are few banks like AU, they do not have presence in, let's say, East India more, where the Bandhan Bank is more prominent in East India, but overall they have presence across India, and they have similar work in infrastructure, they have similar branch setup, they have similar revenue model, and almost similar products with different tie-ups with the partners in insurance, mutual fund, and for the other product that they offer. So if you look at IDFC Bank, the managing director is Vaidyanathan, and IDFC Limited, the parent company, was into shambles. I'm going to talk about it today. But as a bank, they are doing good. It's a healthy bank with profits. And if you look at Bandhan Bank, also a good profitable bank, a little slow in everything, but pretty good, and got conservative mindset. But I think they are doing really good in the market. And if you look at AU Small Finance, also fairly new but good number of employees. Jana also more than 50,000 employees, almost have presence across India, and very dynamic CEOs in place. If you see some fundamental difference, as you can see, Bandhan is a bank, IDFC is a bank, right? But AU is a small finance bank. So what exactly is the difference? Let me quickly tell you that when I say Bandhan Bank or IDFC Bank, they are fully commercialized bank, right? So they are just like any bank, like HDFC, Axis Bank, ICICI Bank, SBI Bank. So they are no lesser than that. So they are fully complied with RBI regulations, and they have all the available security which is being offered by any other bank. Similarly, small finance bank are also being governed by RBI. But the slight difference here is that the small finance banks are more they are dependent on more on lending, and they have to serve only the 75% of their overall customer base is coming from the priority sector. So when I say priority sector, that means they are small businessmen, they are small small customers with small savings. So typically the idea is that they should cater to they should open more rural branches. They should open branches where rural customer or the micro SMEs are there, so that they should be able to cater to their requirements. Okay, so you will see them giving out loans to small kirana shops, small stores, small businessmen, and people who are looking for higher interest rate with higher risk. They go for these banks because they get loans much easier and with lesser compliance compared to the regular scheduled banks like Bandhan, IDFC, HDFC, ICICI, and then that's where the small customer or a customer with lesser compliance who would be able to who doesn't have all collaterals and paperwork, so they always prefer the small finance bank. Again, the interest rate is higher when you look at small finance bank. So as an individual, if you are joining in any of if a small finance bank, that clearly means that you have a customer base which is much larger, but again you have a tougher product in terms of interest rate. While the regular banks will offer you lesser interest rate, but again the compliance are higher. It means if 100 people are applying for a loan, maybe only 10 will get it. However, in the small finance bank, if 100 people are applying for a loan, maybe 60 will get it. So again, you have pros and cons of joining any of the bank. If you join a commercial bank, maybe the sales is a little difficult in terms of traction. Okay, but at the same time, you can go for any size. You can target any customer. But if you go for a small finance bank, sales getting conversion is traction is much easier. But again, you can't target everybody. So these are the complexities between these two banks. If you look at where you should join as an employee, certainly banks, before even I go ahead and review the entire industry as an employer, but I must tell you that joining bank is always good, because they give you more stability. They are more stable companies. They are much larger companies with much larger capital compared to the small finance bank, and small finance bank always have the funding and capital issues which normally the larger bank don't have. But that doesn't mean that there is a job security everywhere. Okay, I'll come to it, but still, if you ask me to give a thumbs up to who, I will always say go for a full-fledged bank compared to small finance bank or NBFC. So that should always be a priority. If you look at the benefit, as I said, that a Bandhan Bank, this is a very benefit specific to a particular organization. If you look at Bandhan Bank, it's a large and stable organization, pretty old in the system, while IDFC is 5-year-old. They started in 2015, but they have amazing work environment. It's a very Cosmo environment. It's a very future-looking bank. So if you think that you really want to go to a place where the talent is amazing, people are very fast forward, the work culture is great, I think IDFC should be a choice for you among Bandhan or IDFC. If you look at AU Small Finance Bank, even though it's a small finance bank, it really lead over others in terms of growth, because the kind of growth as an individual you will get in AU, you may not get elsewhere. This growth is both in terms of money and role. So maybe if you join as an assistant manager, there are higher chances that you will be a branch manager soon compared to Bandhan and IDFC. Okay, and Jana is again a good place to join, but still compared to others not the best. And but they have flexible product. So if you're joining in Jana Finance Bank, chances of being able to do more sales, getting more commissions and incentives are much higher. If you see the benefits, of joining and the challenges that we typically have when we look at these banks. So one of the biggest challenge with Bandhan Bank is they're very slow, in terms of growth and decision making. So it means that if you are really looking for some dynamic, very versatile, agile environment, I think Bandhan Bank is not really a place to go. If you look at IDFC, they have some leadership challenges. Like Mr. Vaidyanathan just a day before sold out all his shares in the market, right? And their share price came down heavily. So Vaidyanathan is a CEO and he has sold off everything what he had about IDFC. I think that raises some suspicion. So all I want to tell you that IDFC parent organization as IDFC also had its own challenges. So as an organization, IDFC First Bank has been into a lot of problems with respect to the parents. As a bank, they are very profitable, got a very healthy balance sheet. But compared to Bandhan Bank and the other banks like HDFC, ICICI and Axis Bank, I think IDFC or Kotak Bank, it doesn't really fare at that level. But still, if you compare it to the other NBFC, Small Finance Bank and others, I think this is really a great place to work. Some of the common challenges with all the employers, all the banks, is the work pressure is always high. So if you are looking for a job with 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 7 also, this is not a place for you. Don't join any bank, not just this, but any bank of financial services. Because on day of closing, you have to work till 10 p.m., 10:30, 12 also. It doesn't matter whether you are a male or a female. These banks, they work in a very high pressure work environment. Even under COVID-19 situation, all the banks work late nights. They had their own targets to deliver. And you will see that most of the banks have been able to deliver their targets as well and have generated profits. So that means that long working hours, tough competition and work pressure is a attribute that you will see everywhere. So it doesn't matter in which company will you gonna join. But in a small finance bank, one of the biggest challenges, there is no job security. So normally they have challenges with the capital. So whether it's capital coming from RBI or the capital coming from the investor, they always have problem with the capital. And once they have capital, then there is a lot of pressure in terms of releasing the capital and lend the capital to the customer base so that they should be able to generate interest and income. Once they don't have a capital, they have a challenge in terms of their workforce and managing the higher cost of the workforce. So that clearly means there is a very little job security. If they will run out of capital, the one thing that they're gonna do, they're gonna decrease the number of employees, right? Or they will not hire, or they will ask people to go. So job security is a challenge almost everywhere. It's not that it's not there in IDFC, but certainly Bandhan Bank is a little more stable and people don't really lose the job that quickly in Bandhan compared to the other NBFC and all other small finance bank. But still, job security is not a great thing that normally all new banks or NBFC offers to you. Second is the product interest rates are very high compared to banks. So that clearly means that if you go to somebody and you want to sell your product, a lending product, they may have, if they are compliant and they have all the papers, they would always prefer taking the loan from a regular bank at a much lower interest rate compared to a small finance bank or NBFC, because the rates of interest are very high. It is 18%, 24%, and effectively it goes up to 40% per year. So it means if somebody is taking 100 rupees from you, you may gonna charge 40 rupees as interest from them. And this is too high for any customer in India. And another challenge that you will face is high attrition, and that leads to a lot of other problems. So when you say high attrition, it leads to the problems like you will see you will have lesser standard processes because people leave there and they go with a lot of intelligence. So when new people come in, again you have to set new processes. You will see a lot of pressure in terms, if you are staying in the organization, that clearly means you have to ensure that if somebody leaves, you have to do their job as well. So high attrition has its own problem. and you will have to face all the problem when you will gonna work with place like AU Small, IDFC or Jana. I have spoken to a lot of employees in all these companies, and I've seen that one of the biggest challenge that they have is that people leave, and there are no set process, there are no set training for the new employees, and there's always a kind of chaos environment. But fine, the people who are very agile, they really want to grow fast. I think these are the places for them and to work in this kind of environment. And then there are other small finance banks. If you see that it's not just AU and Jana, there are other 8 as well in India. So like Capital, Equitas, Suryodaya, Ujjivan, Utkarsh. They're no lesser than anybody. They also have very good network in the market, but they all have their own issues, and they are not really. They have similar concerns. They share their challenges with Jana and AU. Like they have capital issues. There's no job security, and the similar high attrition is a problem with them as well. If you look at job security, if I really have to compare job security, as I said, that certainly is high. It is very high in Bandhan Bank, however lowest for Jana. Based on the studies that we have done. If you look at growth wise, as I mentioned before also, AU gives you the highest growth. So friends, if you have been working in a couple of companies and very stable, then I think it doesn't matter if you for a while you join a company like AU, take a quick growth and then go back to again a very stable company. Working for a company like IDFC is great because it's a good combination of job security and growth that it provides you. So you can clearly see the benefit of working for a company with respect to the growth that you will get here. If you look at salaries wise, Bandhan offers the highest salaries being a regularized bank. If you look at, maybe I'll show you in the next screen like how the salaries ranges are available for across the industry, but Bandhan has the highest salary range. So maybe a vice president in Bandhan would be at a salary of around 45 to 50 lakh, while the lowest salary for a vice president would be around 30 lakh. But the same vice president at AU Small Finance Bank will have a salary of only 22 lakhs, while the highest will go up to 35 to 40 lakhs. So while for Jana it is even much lesser. So if you look at salaries, even the starting salaries, if you see, all these 4 employers and the similar employers typically have the starting salary of around 2 lakh to 2.5 lakh. And usually average starting salary in Bandhan Bank and IDFC is around 3 lakh. While for AU it is around 2.5 lakh and for Jana it is around 2 lakh. So these are the starting salaries for somebody who is being hired fresh from the market. If you look at assistant manager, branch manager, I'll share a slide with you later where you will get to know the average salary of the entire industry. And based on this chart, you can figure out that IDFC and Bandhan, they stay at a higher range, while AU and Jana are at a little lower range. On work culture wise, IDFC stand the best because, as I said, it's a kind of cosmopolitan bank. They have the best talent. In terms of, if compared to all other, they have the young talent. They have hired people from best of the universities. They have hired people from best of the other banks like Axis, ICICI and other. So they have the best teams available, and they have a very agile work environment. So I think in work culture wise, if you are really looking for a place where they, like in COVID-19 situation, IDFC gave a full work from home to almost 60 to 70% of the employees, and gave a lot of flexibility in terms of from where they can work, how they can work. While others also offered that, but IDFC is one of the best. While second is Bandhan, then AU, and then Jana. So guys, so Jana is comparatively, I think you can see it's always remained the last, but we should not forget that compared to other small finance bank like Suryodaya, Utkarsh, Ujjivan and other, Jana fares even better. Okay, so I want you to ensure that depending on what is your profile, what are you looking at, that is how you should choose your company. Now let's look at the ratings. So if you look at the rating, if I have to rate anyone, in combination to everything. So it means whether it's their salaries, whether it's a work satisfaction, job security, whether it is the work culture, whether it's a flexibility. If I combine everything, then I will give the highest rating to AU Small Finance Bank, and I'll give it for a reason. One is it's a forward-looking bank. It takes care of its employees. It provides a flexible work environment, and it gives a good. It offers very good growth opportunities. And then I will the highest rating goes to AU, while the next one is Bandhan, then IDFC, and then Jana. And if you want to look at the rating given on the platforms like Glassdoor, Ambition Box, and Indeed Review, you can see that IDFC, even on these platforms, AU Small Finance Bank perform the best. Like on Indeed, its rating is even 4.5. While I think that's too high, but I think 3.8 is a very good rating for AU Small Finance Bank, and so is IDFC. And Bandhan Bank is having 3.9 as a rating at Ambition Box. So this is the rating chart, and I've just provided you comparison on all three major review platforms we have in India. If you look at the job roles versus salary, as I was mentioning when I was talking about salary, you can see the senior roles like branch head, assistant vice president, senior manager, cluster head, area in charge, vice president. You can see the minimum and maximum range. So VP 19 lakh to 46 lakh. So it means maybe in Jana Finance, majorly VP will have a salary of 19 to 30 lakh. Okay, while in Bandhan Bank it may go up to 46 lakh. Okay, and if you look at the little junior role, like assistant manager, assistant branch head, relationship officer, you can see like roles like relationship officers, lowest salary range in this sector is 1.5 lakh, while highest is 3 lakh. So it never go beyond that. But if you look at assistant manager, it goes up to 4.2 lakh. For DM, it is 5.3 lakh is maximum. And for executive, again, a starting salary will not gonna go up beyond 3.5 lakh. So I think this is a very important screen. I want you to save it for yourself. If you are negotiating with these companies, you clearly know the lowest and the highest range to negotiate and see what is the best that you can get based on the designation that you are getting in the company, or the similar designation if the designation is not mentioned here. Now, how you can apply to these companies? So friends, these are banking companies, so they are consumer companies, and most of the decisions are being taken at a regional level, especially for the junior roles. So that clearly means that the best way to apply in this company is through their employees. So if you know somebody who's a senior guy, who's a branch head, who's a VP, I think the best way to get the job is this. So if you know the guy in a function, maybe you go to LinkedIn, find out who is the right person to apply, to who is the head of that particular vertical. Go and send your CV directly to that particular individual. Doing it through HR and doing it through consultant will take its own time. I will never gonna suggest you that. But again, the second best way to go through is going through a consultant. Applying online on job post will not gonna help you, because I know I've got a feedback from various people that will not going to work for you. Okay, and above all, if you ask me a verdict, I would always say, if you have a choice, go ahead and join Bandhan Bank, and then you can choose and you can go to IDFC, then AU, and then Jana. So this is it from our end, friends, today. I hope that information would be useful to you, and it's gonna help you choose your next company for your next job. So if you really like it, I would suggest you to go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll keep bringing sector-based, company-based reviews to you. Thank you.